For KRVN Sports, I'm Jayson Jorgensen. Coming up this weekend in Gothenburg. Gothenburg once again is hosting the junior high state track and field meet. Meet director and the creator of this event, Jim Clark, says they're ready to go.
Well, we're always glad, Jason, when the meet day gets here. There's an awful lot of prep work, and I'm awful thankful that we have the amount of volunteers that we do to make it work for all the kids coming in around the state. And this year looks like it's going to be another doozy. Every year I keep thinking to myself that these new meet records will never go down, and sure as heck the next group comes in and tries to prove me wrong. So looking forward to, looks like we've got another, and I think we're going to have some outstanding performances.
You have to be just so proud and happy on how this event has grown and how successful this has been, because I remember when you started this, you didn't know, you were trying to get the word out there, and now everybody knows about this big meet every May in Gothenburg.
You know, to put it in perspective, it's an animal that we can't hardly cage anymore. And but to be honest with you, I end up, and today's the day where, just as part of the duties, this is where I basically say you're accepted or you're rejected. And what amazes me is, you're right, in those very first years, Jayson, you know, we were just thankful to fill the field and looking for a great meet, and now I'll literally reject, or not accept, I should say, more kids than we do accept. And so, yeah, it's pretty fun, and it's really neat to see how these kids just really want to get in here and go head to head.
Jim, are there some certain categories that you've really seen big improvement in the efforts and the times at this meet since it started back in 2010?
I would tell you that it's across the board, and of course that fluke athlete comes around every so often and puts a new bar up, so to speak. But across the board, what we've noticed in the length of this meet is what was winning the meet in the first couple years, maybe the first 3-4 years, is now basically the standard that you qualify in. That's basically where 24th place is, and I can attribute it because, you know, gosh, you think about it, the kids that are competing now, they've never not known the meet. They were the little brother, little sister of an older sibling that came to the meet, and it was their normal. And so I think we have, as I visit with coaches around the state, I think we've got kids that are training for this in the 3rd and 4th grade, honestly, because they know what's coming up in junior high.
I can't imagine the logistics that goes into pulling something off like this in a small town. How do you make this work? What's this like, trying to pull this off every year?
It'll take 200 people to pull everything together, from people that are simply, assisting people that need questions asked, all the way to our referees. And so I'm thankful that, you know, Gothenburg's always been a little bit of a track community, and for that reason, I think we're able to pull this off. I look around, and it seems like it's pretty hard to find volunteers in these days anymore, but these Gothenburg people just keep stepping up.
You are now moving into the 14th year you have had this event. I would think you got to look at this kind of like a child and a baby, and you have to be really proud of how this event has really grown.
You know, not very long ago, Jayson, I had a coach reach out to me, and he said, what was your first thought to have this meet? And I said, I can remember the day exactly. I said it was 1996. I had 4 boys that ran the 4x8 relay. And at that time, we weren't even running the 4x8 relay. I shouldn't have said what I just did. They were all running the open 800. And I had kids that ran from 212 to 219, which to have 4 of those kids, and I can still remember looking at them after our final meet, and I said, it's too bad that there's not a state track meet, because you guys would win the 4x8. That was the first thought that I ever had to put it together. And so it took some serious consideration, because as you can well imagine, junior highs were not exactly speaking on the same terms. And at first, we had to get everybody to start running the same races. We had to start reaching out to them and get a protocol set up so we could have a fine oiled machine. But I'm thankful that those days are gone, but looking forward to the days coming down the road, because again, it's just really, really a special event, and we sure have great crowds that come out and great officials. And I would sidebar with you for just a second, Jayson. I do have to mention that I smile because they're dear friends, but just the three referees that are coming in. You've got John Chapman, who was literally the gentleman that got Title IX started in the United States. He was an Olympic coach for us. He was a longtime Washington State Cougar coach, and he's loved this event that he just keeps returning to it each year. Another one of our referees is Mark Kostick. Mark is the current rules secretary for the NCAA in track and field. Again, great. There's not too many people that are higher than these gentlemen that come in. And our third referee, not to be outdone by the first two, but is a wonderful gentleman by the name of Mike Marriott. Mike Marriott is the head Husker official, the head referee for the University of Nebraska, and the head official for the United States. And so, oh darn it, I said it wrong. He would be the head official for, if you want to become an official, he's the guy that literally gives you that badge. In fact, the thing that's funny, I met Mike Marriott 20-some years ago. Oh gosh, my children were at a junior Olympic meet in Omaha, and I'm looking from the outside of the fence at this officiating crew, and I could see they were a little short. And this gentleman comes walking by, and I could tell that he was probably in charge of the meet. And I said, "Excuse me, do you need any help?" And he looks at me and he says, "Jump the fence." And that was literally how I became an official, Jayson. And the thing that's funny is at the end of the meet, he comes over to me. Of course, I had no idea who he was. He had no idea who I was. And he said, "Would you ever be interested in working the University of Nebraska's meets?" And I said, "Well, my kids are really young, but I said, as soon as they grow up, I'd be honored to come down and help." Well, lo and behold, who'd ever thought that moment, Jayson, I'm lucky to do world championships, and I'm a regular on all of the USA championship teams now. And so I'd have never dreamt that just simply asking a person if I could help would lead to where I am now. So it's just kind of funny how it all works out.
And that was Jim Clark, the meet director of the Nebraska Junior High State Track and Field meet that's set for tomorrow in Gothenburg. Jim and his family certainly have done so much for track and field across the state of Nebraska. The meet on Saturday starts at 11 with field events and the running events at 12:30. For KRVN Sports, I'm Jayson Jorgensen.